and microwave hearing, often marketed on the black market, aka the dark, deep web. On that note, here is a quote from the New York Times from September 1st, 2018, which stated, "More recently, the American military itself sought to develop microwave arms that could invisibly beam loud booms and even spoken words into people's heads." Other weapons and tactics that are used in these secret operations are setups that create homelessness, covert stalking, isolation, sleep deprivation, physical pain, separation from family and friends, divorce, annoying street theater antics, discrimination, and smear/slander campaigns, all aimed to destroy a person's reputation and character. They spread lies about the target in the vicinity of the target's life, where neighbors and friends become suspicious about them because they are told that the target is under investigation. And I'll just add that they usually say that they're under federal investigation, which keeps people away from the target and threatens that if they involve themselves with that person or that target, that they could possibly face some jail time. So that keeps the targets isolated. The community around the target is also threatened, where they must conform to this illegal operations and become targeted themselves or worse. They are given rewards in the tunes of houses, cars, and other gifts as bait to become a snitch to the target in attempts to frame them with blackmail crimes such as theft, drug dealing, rape, prostitution, you name it. The secret program smear campaign is also used to keep people in the program from getting jobs and housing with illegal surveillance by neighbors, similar to the tactics used in the Stasi German Nazi regime, involving friends, families, spouses, lawyers, doctors, co-workers, or anyone else that could potentially give support to the target. Why, you might ask? The same reason agencies conducted past programs: human experimentation, human trafficking, money laundering, corrupt use of power, and mostly control over those who might question these illegal operations of these hidden programs. I am making a plea today for you to become aware and help millions of people in the United States and across the globe who are suffering from this illegal secret program. These victims have had all aspects of their lives destroyed from this program that is hidden from the public eye. This program is not a conspiracy theory, nor is the victims who are calling out their perpetrators delusional. These people do not have mental disorders, which the program uses as their number one defense to rationalize their crimes. These victims are not alone amongst the millions of other stories where people are experiencing the same symptoms. Nearly identical target accounts to this program can be found on the internet under the slogan of gang stalking. The truth be known that there are multiple people reporting these horrendous crimes, so that the program is not secret anymore. The fact that over 30 cities around the world are rallying and warning others in this very moment should be evidence within itself about the horrors of this program, while giving support to each other where the system needs to be where there's no support system in place. This form of discrimination to target innocent lives that caused these victims to be brutalized and stripped of their rights, which also includes vulnerable children and people who suffer from handicaps and live alone. Now I'm going to confront the skeptics and explain how this program does exist. Right. Innocent, normal people are being framed by the means of fabricated CONTEL law, documents, recordings, videos, law enforcement, medical CONTEL pro, and multi-stalkers as blameless people are being called delusional and deemed with mental illness. These victims are having their rights taken away because of all the tricks, money, and power of this program that federal, state, and local agencies are involved in and don't want the public to know that really exist. When there is so much money, power, media, secrecy, covers-ups, and people involved, then the people in the general public cannot possibly know that then people in the general public know that they can be persuaded away from the truth of this covert program. There was experimentation with humans and radiation without their consent, in which President Clinton apologized for in 1995. Can you imagine being taken and isolated from the rest of the world and having people in hoods and suits experimenting on you with radiation? What could be more terrorizing? Maybe the MK Ultra mind control experiments President Ford apologized for, admitting that an invasive program on unwilling peoples had been developed by technologies to take over people's minds and control them in our own country. It has become a fact. Can you imagine being subjected to secret mind control agencies and trying to explain the effects to the general public? What would the general public say to them? You're delusional. You're crazy. That is a conspiracy theory, right? Well, guess what? The same kind of secret programs have learned from their mistakes and upgraded protocols and interface law enforcement and anyone else that opposes it. So it's next to impossible for victims who are put in this program to find help with allies, agencies, or support programs. Victims know that this program has been successful, and if you don't believe me, ask Facebook, who has come out with mind-reading technology and an app that cannot be uninstalled called Brain-Computer Interface. What you have to understand is that all these weapons and technologies that we, the public, are seeing now have been developed and in use by our military in other countries for God knows how long. The public is the last to know about such technologies, and the bottom feeders and domestic terrorists on the dark/deep web are getting these technologies for cheap these days and radiating innocent people. Recently, microwave weapons were used on diplomats and their children in Cuba and China, causing brain injuries. Hello? I'm sorry to inform you, but the sociopathic instinct that the people had that operated the weapons against the diplomats and their children are what millions of stalkers do to millions of innocent people and bystanders in our country every day. Since they don't have a status of equal to diplomat, they are being considered mentally ill and not getting mainstream media attention and suffering and being ridiculed in the process in secret. Debunk the perps.
That's right.
So if people are delusional, paranoid, hypervigilant, mentally ill, and this program doesn't exist, then why can programs like MK Ultra mind control experiments, radiation experimentation secretly on unwilling humans, and direct energy attacks on humans exist and proven to exist, but a program like this one that I'm describing doesn't and can't exist? Not. Agencies that have the mentality to create the injustices described as definitely above are definitely along the lines and have created this program again. In other words, the people and the agencies doing these inhumane criminal acts are not stopping by getting caught. They are learning from their mistakes on how to deceive to make sure the program is 100% successful, keeping it from the public until now. Until Alliance to End Targeting.org and other support groups came along. Number 2. So if people are delusional, paranoid, hypervigilant, mentally ill, then this program doesn't exist. Then why do heroes like Lieutenant Larry Richards from the law enforcement in Santa Cruz, California, admit in a news segment that gang stalking was around before Facebook and other social websites? They just now have gone into those areas. This was 8 years ago. Case closed. All right? Case closed. A lieutenant from law enforcement admitted on national TV that gang stalking exists. But the people in the agencies behind these programs are still using denial plausibility to keep destructions of people's lives secret and are still getting away with it because of the power and the money or the threats to get anyone. YouTube, police lieutenant admits to gang stalking. That's hands down right there. That's what more proof do you need? A lieutenant admits to gang stalking right there. Number 3, people are delusional, paranoid, hypervigilant, mentally ill, and this program does exist because the people chosen against their will to participate in the program are smart. The covert stalkers make intimidation obvious to the hunted people, but hide it in the plain sight of public. For example, covert stalkers that a target has never seen before walk by the targets and say, "There he is. There she is." They use projected conversation to make sure the targets know that they know something personal that has happened in the target's life. This is not delusional. This is surveillance abuse and psychological abuse that happens to almost everyone in this program.